So, Lily Reinhardt and Victoria Pedretti horror film Forbidden Fruit hit streaming yesterday, which means I finally got to watch it because I live in the UK and it did not get a cinema release. This is a film directed by Meredith Holloway. It's written by her and a woman called Lily Houghton. And as you may know, given that it's had a lot of comparisons to Jennifer's Body, it was produced by Diablo Cody, who wrote that way back in the day. And I have to say, it is one of the first films I've seen since Jennifer's Body that captures that same like quirky, offbeat, bitchy girl humor. People are also calling this Mean Girls, but as a horror. It definitely doesn't totally hit on the aesthetic of a woman in 2025. Or maybe if you're American it does. It certainly doesn't in England or New Zealand. Like, nobody dresses like that. Nobody in their right mind would ever wear high heels just like on an average day. But the dialogue is spot on, which brings me to really my favorite thing about this film is that in a way that doesn't feel heavy-handed or over the top to me, it really parrots a lot of TikTok level feminist discourse without ever using terms like girl's girl and channeling like dark feminine energy. There is almost like a femcel element to this movie. And actually, if you want to read about femcel movies, a friend of mine, Billy, just wrote an article about that for The Guardian, so you should check that out. I think if you just Google femcel Guardian, that will come up. But it manages to address all of these ideas about like sisterhood and kind of sincere sisterhood and what the point of feminism is. One thing I would say it doesn't do well, it in many ways does feel like a first time film. There are some really janky edits, unfortunately, and the scene doesn't particularly successfully kind of glide up to its denouement. It's a fun little film set in a mall, and then suddenly it's like, oh, and people are dying. People are dying. That could have been handled a little better. And the final thing I'll say is the whole cast, including Emma Chamberlain, Lily Reinhardt, made for this role. Victoria Pedretti gets really silly and funny. Lola Tung, so engaging. Alexandra Shipp, really enchanting. So I highly recommend you watch support this wonderful independent film because it was fab.